So last week, I was chilling. The weekend was coming up, and I was looking for something to maybe go to the theater to watch. Obviously, I haven't watched Death of a Unicorn, which I've been wanting to see. A Working Man recently dropped. The Amateur, and that Drop movie recently released. And yeah, a lot of my family members and just friends and people I know were very excited for The Amateur. It had Rami Malek, Rachel Brosnahan. It was getting marketed heavily. And yeah, so I decided to go see Warfare. Now, full disclosure, I am a Alex Garland D1 meat rider. The man has never failed to bring me a great film, and I just really admire his work and his craft. And when the trailer first dropped for this movie, I was kind of hesitant. Not only do I think the war genre has had so many films that it felt like, could you actually do something new in it? There was the other part of me where, you would think, is this a political piece that's maybe propaganda or something like that? Thankfully, this is not. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about everything is perfect about this movie, because its approach inherently in and of itself is completely different than most films. It doesn't really have a strict narrative. There aren't true character arcs or a main protagonist that we follow. This is simply, as the marketing kind of told us, a movie based off of memory. Ray Mendoza, who was the consultant for a lot of the action in the third act of Alex Garland's last film, Civil War, which I also really loved and highly recommend you check out. This movie, Warfare, was completely based off of his memories when he was serving, and that's what it is. It's almost like a day in his life during an exact mission, almost playing in real time. It just starts, and the second the tension begins, it literally does not let its foot off of the gas pedal until the movie completely ends. I found myself really not only invested in the characters or in the mission at hand, but just in the film as a whole. As soon as it ended, I found myself gasping, like I could finally breathe. It was quite an immersing experience, and that was me watching it in digital. I can't imagine watching this kind of movie in a premium format with extremely loud speakers and a humongous screen. The Amateur unfortunately took IMAX screens away from this movie, which is diabolical to say the least. Warfare isn't your typical war movie. It's not a zero to hero. It really is just throwing you into almost 90 minutes of hell. It is just this cacophonous and claustrophobic experience. I think every performance in here is like top tier. They do their jobs, and no one really stands out because it really does work as an ensemble piece. This is a group of soldiers that have each other's backs, and we're not here to spend significant time on only one or certain characters. You really feel the chain of command and the hierarchy of these individuals during battles, and the horrors that come from going through those battles. And like I said earlier, this is not some piece of propaganda. It does not glorify war in the slightest. I'd argue it does quite the opposite. And if you were thinking that this picks a side on certain countries, absolutely not. There's a moment in the third act near the end of the film that completely encapsulates that this is not that at all. And what I appreciate mostly from this is it doesn't feel like Alex Garland is stepping in to add certain cinematic flourishes. No, there's none of that over the topness or something to make it more movie-like. Nothing of that sort. In fact, there are things in here that are so clearly pulled from Ray Mendoza's mind, and obviously while the entire movie is, you really get that feeling once you see the film and you see specific details and moments that you just can't make up for the movies. These are real things. The soldiers are constantly communicating and using forms of communication in the military that otherwise would have been extremely simplified or explained better for casual movie-going audiences, but it's not here. You have no clue what half of the things these soldiers are saying while they're in combat, because that's how it is. That's how it's supposed to be. And so nothing is sugar-coated. Even tiny details like the soldiers having to grab their gear, or there's at one point a soldier just sits there and wipes dust off of like a bed frame, and it's things like that that tell me this is authentic. This is quite possibly the most authentic war movie ever made. I'm gonna compare it to like a Call of Duty campaign, but even a Call of Duty campaign is once again cinematic. It has narrative, it has like a narrator and protagonists. This really does feel like something extremely claustrophobic, and like you're with them, and that's what's so special about this. Not only is it immersive, it's well performed, it looks phenomenal even though it's not really trying to be overly cinematic. But the standout here is the sound design. After watching Civil War, that was one of my biggest takeaways from that film, and it is like cranked up to 10 for this film. I mean, the sound design is literally perfect. It really just scares you and creeps up on you whenever it needs to, really jolting you into the moment. But also, even the tiniest of sounds, from dust particles to magazines dropping on the floor to someone coughing or sneezing in the background, you really feel it. Every single thing feels tactile and textured, and that makes the experience of warfare even the more authentic. Not to mention an opening that is just as iconic. This movie just simply feels real. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I wondered what could Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza add to this genre that has been tried and tested a countless amount of times. And what they ended up doing was giving us possibly the most authentic war experience in cinematic form that you could ever possibly do. That is outside of something like a documentary, of course. Now, you can obviously go and watch this film and make up your own mind. I'm not here to forcefully tell you that certain preconceived notions that are coming into this film to change. I'm not telling you to do any of that. All I'm saying is, if you go and see this, open your mind, and if you still come out with certain feelings, you are completely entitled to those opinions. Film is subjective, and that's what makes art so beautiful. But I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I still cannot believe that The Amateur took away premium format screenings from this movie. I highly recommend going and checking this out. Now, if you are kind of privy or scared, or just kind of get a little bit of anxiety or shooken during some really high tense sequences and sounds that might, be a little loud, then probably put this off until it might come out on digital or something. But yeah, I really enjoyed the film. Everything from start to finish was extremely well made and tributed very well, and I think this movie will surprise a lot of you. But yeah, I thought Warfare was phenomenal, one of the best movies of the year, and I would not be surprised if come award season this does pick up one of those technical, sound mixing categories, because it is absolutely phenomenal. But go ahead and check out Warfare. Give me your thoughts, and if you haven't watched it, why? I really want to know in the comments below what you guys all think. I love discussing with you guys, and if you made it this far, please do me a favor, like the video, subscribe, and click that bell. It helps me out a ton, and it would be greatly appreciated. It's completely free, but other than that, it's been 𝙎𝙬🎑, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one.